Destiny, and today we're gonna be showcasing Aglaea alongside Cyrene. And before we get into today's video, I would love to know which of the Chrysos Heirs is your favorite. Lastly, if you do enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support today's video, and now let's get straight into it. For today's showcase, we're gonna be using Hyacine, Cyrene, Aglaea, and Remembrance Trailblazer. Maker will attack. Now with the Remembrance Trailblazer, we're going to skill. With Hyacine, we're going to basic attack just so we don't have 100% charge for Mem. And now what we could do, now that we have 100%, is actually advance towards Cyrene, as this will allow us to use another skill to get more points for her ultimate. Now Garment Maker will attack. As for Remembrance Trailblazer, we're just going to use our ultimate. Boom. Now we can use our basic attack like so. Now with Hyacine, what we could do is use her skill, and with Cyrene, we'll use her skill and then use Hyacine's ultimate. So there we go. We now have enough points in order to use Cyrene's ultimate, but we're going to hold off on doing this. I would rather use first, of course, Aglaea's ultimate and be able to advance forward with Mem again as well before we use Cyrene's ultimate. So now with Remembrance Trailblazer, we're going to skill, and now we can advance forward Aglaea. Basic attack here, and boom. And now with Cyrene, use the ultimate, and now we'll be able to get back everyone's ultimate as well. So there we go. We're gonna first use the buff here on Remembrance Trailblazer. Now we can use their ultimate like so, and what, bam. Now we'll use Aglaea's ultimate. Now we'll use Hyacine's ultimate as well, just to deal more damage. And boom! Now what we could do is use Cyrene's ultimate on Aglaea. There we go. And Cyrene will also come in and attack. Well, bam! And now what we could do is focus on the enemy to the right. Advance toward Aglaea once again. So we should be able to clear this in the 0 cycle for this wave. With Hyacine, we could just skill. Little Ika. Boom! There we go. Now we're on to Flame Reaver. With Cyrene here, we are primarily going to be using her ultimate now once it is available on Aglaea, as this will assist with getting Aglaea more and more energy. We can basic attack with Hyacine. With Cyrene, we will just be using her basic attack. And with Remembrance Trailblazer, same thing. Cyrene's going to come in here with her attack as well. Now with Aglaea, boom, joint attack. And we're already really close to getting Aglaea's ultimate again, which is great. So with Hyacine here, we could just use her ultimate like so. We're so close to getting Aglaea's ultimate. I'm really hoping that we can get it in time, but if not, it's fine. There goes little Ika. With Cyrene, we are just going to use her ultimate, which I actually believe I'm using this ultimate a little too early. I think I actually was supposed to wait until Aglaea's ultimate was over. And I'll show why in a second here. So we have Aglaea's ultimate, but the issue is here we aren't going to get all of our maximum stacks again, since I kind of messed up the timing on that. But I'll show you all what's supposed to happen normally. So Aglaea would attack, and now what we could do is just quickly get some more points to use Cyrene's ultimate again. There we go, we have it once again. I'm just going to use Remembrance Trailblazer's ultimate and now use Cyrene's. And now if we use the buff here on Aglaea, she is immediately going to get enough stacks to have her speed buff maxed out, as she is at 6 out of 6 stacks. So ideally what I should have done is use Cyrene's ultimate after Aglaea exited her ultimate and was able to use her ultimate once again. But it is fine, we're just gonna keep it going. That was just a mistake I just noticed I did, but it is okay, as this is more so just me initially testing these characters, as Aglaea should be probably one of my first showcases or one of my first showcases uploaded. But regardless, it is a-okay. With Aglaea, we are just going to attack once again. With Hyacine, we can use her ultimate. There goes in little Ika. And now we can use our skill with Hyacine. Little Ika is going to attack once again. And with Cyrene here, we will just attack like so. And now we will give the buff to Aglaea here, which will be able to benefit us for getting more and more energy for her as mentioned. With the Remembrance Trailblazer, we will just basic attack. Garment Maker will also attack. And now we can use their ultimate. Boom. Now we can attack with Aglaea. What, bam. And now Mem will be able to advance toward Aglaea once again. And now we could just attack like so. With Hyacine, what we will do is just basic attack. Little Eco will come in and attack. Well, bam. Now with Cyrene, we can just use her basic attack. And now once again, use the buff here on Aglaea. There goes Garment Maker. We were able to get Aglaea's ultimate. We're just going to attack like so. Cyrene is also going to attack. Now the Turbulence will come in. With Aglaea, we will just attack like so, and now also follow up here with her ultimate, just to be able to immediately attack again. There goes then Garment Maker. And now with Hyacine, we can use her skill, follow up here with her ultimate as well. And Little Ika's attacks will be very useful for getting Cyrene more and more stacks for her ultimate. And boom, really close to clearing here. We should be able to clear within this cycle. We can just give the buff once again to Aglaea. Cyrene will attack. Okay, 1%, and now Garment Maker will finish off the fight. So we were able to clear there with a 2 cycle. Maybe with more optimization, we could have potentially had a 1 cycle clear. But regardless, here are the builds for today's video. Here is Aglaea. She has her signature light cone. Trace is maxed out. For her relics, we're using Banana Amusement Park. And now for Remembrance Trailblazer, here they are. For their light cone, here is a new light cone they're using. For the traces, they're maxed out. For their relics, we're using Loose Shotgun, Eagle of Twilight Line. And then for their Eidolons, of course, they are E6. Now for Cyrene, here she is. She is using the free-to-play light cone, Memory Curtain Never Falls. Traces maxed out. Relics, we're using Amphoria's Eternal Land and World Remaking Deliverer, and she is also E0. Lastly, we have Hyacine, and here she is. She is using her signature light cone. Her traces are maxed out. For her relics, we're using Giant Tree and Warrior Goddess of Southern Thunder, and for her Eidolon, she is also E0. Now, when it comes to the synergy that Aglaea has with Cyrene in particular, let's actually take a look at the buff that Cyrene will provide. Alrighty, so here we are. We are going to be taking a look at Aglaea here. So Cyrene's special buff for Aglaea will be a one-time effect, and when used on Aglaea, it'll cause Aglaea to gain Romantic and immediately stacks Garment Maker's Memos Ray talent speed boost effect to the max. After Aglaea or Garment Maker use an attack, you will consume Romantic and regenerate 70 energy. You will also have the damage dealt by Aglaea and Garment Maker increase by 72% and also ignore 36% of the target's defense, lasting until Aglaea exits the Supreme Stand state. This buff right here will be very useful for getting Aglaea more energy, in particular 70 energy, which is awesome, and it can basically in a way make up for what Huahua would provide from her ultimate. And what you can end up doing is, let's say you wanted to use Sunday on the team, you can also consider that. I wanted to use Remembrance Trailblazer in particular though, as they are Chrysos Heirs, so they're going to be able to assist with Cyrene getting more points when the battle begins, which if we take a look right here, when there are 1, 2, 3 Chrysos Heirs or Remembrance Path characters aside from Cyrene in the team, she will gain 2, 3, 6 recollection points at the start of combat. So because of this, if you do have 3 Chrysos Heirs or Remembrance Path characters on the team, Cyrene will gain 6 recollection points at the start of combat, which will be very useful as this will allow you to be able to use her initial ultimate sooner, which her initial ultimate will cost 24 points of recollection, while every ultimate afterward will only cost 12 points of recollection. Now the team we're using today is able to quickly generate points of recollection. Every character on this team is also a remembrance character as well, and in the case of Remembrance Trailblazer, that advance forward in the beginning of the fight was useful so that Cyrene was able to use her skill again, which it nicely assisted with ensuring that we got her ultimate within the 0 cycle. And even if we didn't do that, I still believe this team honestly should have been able to get enough points, but advancing forward Cyrene for the first instance of mem support did help with ensuring this regardless. And in the case of Aglaea, of course, she is a frequent attacker and so is Garment Maker, but what's really nice about Remembrance characters, in particular with Cyrene, is that Cyrene's trace Child of Remembrance will allow memo sprites to not have to have future consumed, which the way to get points of recollection for Cyrene is that when combat begins or after she takes action, other ally characters under any state and their memo sprites will gain future. When allies with future take action, they will consume it to grant Cyrene 1 recollection point, which future refreshes after Cyrene takes action. The memo sprites are able to continuously get points of recollection for Cyrene regardless of when she takes action or not, as this trace will make sure that future held by memo sprites is not consumed. So that's why Hyacine is really good with Cyrene, as Little Eco will be able to attack frequently, resulting in more points of recollection for Cyrene. This will also apply to, of course, Aglaea's Garment Maker. Garment Maker will be able to assist with this as well, but of course Little Mem here is also going to be able to assist with this as well. So that's why Remembrance characters in particular have a pretty nice synergy with Cyrene, as they'll be able to nicely assist with getting more points of recollection for Cyrene. Now, of course, if you do not have Hyacine, I did make a video recently regarding which character to pull, which I would still say Hyacine is a priority character, but let's say you don't have Hyacine. Dan Heng is also a nice option you can consider. For the Aglaea team, you can consider using Dan Heng. I will be showcasing Dan Heng with some of the other Chrysos Heirs, for example, Anaxa. So Dan Heng is also an option you can consider, especially since Dan Heng is considered a Chrysos Heir himself. So as a result, he'll be able to assist with Cyrene's trace ripples across time to have more points of recollection at the start of combat. Regardless though, this team is very fun in my opinion. I had a lot of fun doing this showcase. If you do want to still use a character like Sunday, you can consider slotting him in, more than likely in the slot of Remembrance Trailblazer here. But of course, I just wanted to test out this team in particular with her, the full Remembrance team with Aglaea, if you will. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed today's showcase, and if you did, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support today's video, and I hope to see you all next time. Bye bye.